As one round ends, the next one begins. And so do the years. The end of 2024 finished hot for the FGC. We had big tournaments and big emotions. SNK really had the spotlight these past few weeks with a whole slew of announcements and great tournaments. We had CEO Taku wrap up just before the holidays, and Street Fighter League US had its final regular season episode. Hi, I'm Normie Nick, and this is Set Point, a weekly FGC news roundup. Let's rock.
Yeah! Let's talk more action!
All right, first up, we've got some Street Fighter news for y'all. So, we had week 10 of Street Fighter League. It's the last episode of the regular season, and it was a pretty dramatic finish. Safe lost to Uriel Valorio in the mirror match, making Shopify Rebellion end the season with 200 points. They really needed a full 40 points to have a better chance to qualify for finals over Bandits. At this point, Bandits had to lose their entire team match in order for Shopify to make it. In the second team match, FlyQuest got the 40 bomb on Cloud9. A rough way for Cloud9 to end the season, but well-deserved wins from Punk's team. At the end of the night was the most important match. Fighting Spirit versus Bandits. If Fighting Spirit got the 40 bomb on Bandits, they would be eliminated and Shopify would have gone to US finals. Fighting Spirit's Oil King won over Louis Man, but then after Kaba beat DCQ's Bison, a difficult matchup for Guile, Bandits had secured their place in fourth. During the team match, it was unclear that this was the case, so it was up to Imena and NL to save or eliminate Bandits. In a nail-biting last game, last round even, Mena took the dub for his team, eliminating Shopify. This was the set to watch for the night, and I'll have links to all this in the blog in the description below. So here's the final standings for Street Fighter League US. We had FlyQuest at 290 points, and then actually, this is the first time in Street Fighter League history there was a three-way tie in points. What's even wilder about this is that they even had the same amount of total wins. So actually these standings went down to the amount of rounds won for Fighting Spirit, Cloud9, and Bandits. Then you see Shopify in 5th place with 200 points, and then Red Rooster last place 85. They did upset the bracket by beating Shopify in the last set. So we also had Street Fighter League Japan playoffs. Unfortunately, they weren't streamed, so I really can't talk about too much. It was a ticketed offline event, and I really wish I had more to show y'all from it. Good 8 Squad won Division S, and Yogibo Reject won Division F. So they're going to play each other in the grand finals event on February 11th. You won't want to miss this. This one is hopefully going to be streamed. We also had some of the last entrance into Capcom Cup this year. There's still, I think, 3 or 4 more spots open, but we're almost ready for Capcom Cup to be fully rostered. So first, from Brazil, we had Zangief Bolado. Zangief Bolado has been playing since the Street Fighter V days and has been killing it this year with the buff Zangief in many Latin American online tournaments, as well as getting 5th place at Ultimate Fighting Arena in France. This is his first Capcom Cup. And then qualifying from the Middle East, we have Angry Bird. Long overdue, Angry Bird finally qualifies for this year's Capcom Cup. He and his best friend Big Bird started playing Street Fighter during the Street Fighter 4 era. Angry Bird won the first EVO for Street Fighter 6 and got second at Gamers 8 later that year. He has continued to have success in the game this year, getting top 8 at EVO and winning the mix-up to qualify for the Esports World Cup. Angry Bird's known for his Ken, but also plays Cammy and Akuma. Then qualifying out of the Europe Northeast region, we have Swedish player Juicy Joe. A JP player, Juicy Joe began competing in the FGC with the release of Mortal Kombat X. Street Fighter 6 is his comeback post-COVID. He consistently gets top 8 at his World Warrior, and his team Moe's got 3rd place in Street Fighter League Europe. This will be Juicy Joe's first Capcom Cup. And out of the stacked US-Canada West regional final, JB wins over Snake Eyes. JB, older brother to Lex, wins his spot for Capcom Cup this year. This is the first time in Capcom Cup history where 2 brothers have both qualified. JB is a Rashid player and started competing heavily with the release of Street Fighter V. JB was team captain this year for Cloud9 in Street Fighter League US, where he and his team are going on to finals. This is actually going to be his second Capcom Cup. His first was in 2019. All right, and to round us out, in an upset, Salty Kid beat Garnet and Zerna for the Europe West Capcom Cup seat. Salty Kid is a 19-year-old Kimberly player from Belgium. He began having results in late Street Fighter V, and this is his first Capcom Cup. You know, being so young, if he sticks with Street Fighter, we'll be seeing a lot more of him over the years. Moving on to the SNK Championship. We had the SNK World Championship Series Finals happen the weekend before Christmas, and it was some of the best King of Fighters all year. It was the conclusion to a series of online tournaments organized by SNK China, but the finals for the event were actually held offline. I made a full recap of this event. You can check it out on my YouTube channel. I'll have that linked in the blog, or it probably will show up in the side panel. At the event, along with it, if you missed this, Gato was announced for Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. So the announcement didn't just come out of blue, it came out of this event, which was really awesome to have and see. From the event, M-Dash and Birdman Yunwoo qualified for the SNK World Championship. That same weekend was CEO Taku, where we had 5 different countries represented in the top 8 for KOF. Shout out to Snover and Silvera for being the US reps. It was a tight grand finals reset, but Colombian player Rockland Kyo won the SWC qualification spot over Argentinian Kaisar 666. And yet another KOF bracket this weekend where someone qualified for SWC. We had the B Pro Cup in Taiwan. It was hosted by GamerB, who's known to be one of the best Street Fighter players in the world. While the main event was a Street Fighter bracket with over 400 entrants, the KOF bracket was a qualifier. ET won the event, but runner-up ZJZ got his spot for SWC. ZJZ, also a very, very good Street Fighter player. It was also announced, too, that in the past few weeks that Samurai Showdown at Frosty Faustings will be the first SWC qualifier for the game. Yeah, Samurai Showdown is going to be at SWC, but we haven't heard too many updates until now. It's really cool to see this at the tournament, be a tournament at the convention. And then SNK also made the Casablanca Fighting Championship in Morocco an SWC qualifier for both KOF 15 and Samurai Showdown. And then 2 more announcements out of SNK. Really, it's tying up the end of this year. So the King of Fighters 30th anniversary, they've been doing a marketing campaign for it. They had 2 big announcements. The first of which was this, the Steam port of King of Fighters 13 Global Match. It's KOF 13, but with rollback. It won't have crossplay, but it's still cool to see this game getting a support. It's a beautiful game. You can actually get it now for Steam, but I would maybe wait to get rollback. The second announcement, which not necessarily was a game, it was that SNK officially created a new division called KOF Studio. This is going to be a team of developers and producers dedicated to SNK's fighting game projects. They also happen to be working on the Samurai Showdown RPG coming out, but that means we should be seeing more games, support, and activities from SNK's fighting game franchises. This is the cool graphic that they made, and they got all the games that the studio has been doing kind of in this modern era of SNK. Moving on, we had Arc World Tour at CEO Taku. During the Guilty Gear Strive event, we saw Jonathan Tene win another gold event and is now tied for first in points. Red On I Am Not got second and is now in the top 30. Razzo, who got 7th, kept her 6th place position with 171 points. Over in Grand Blue Land for Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising, we had Zerum, Elsa, Zippy, Blue Sky BSG, and Aaron Damak got 1st through 5th respectively. Even after winning 2 gold events, Zerum is just shy of qualifying with 211 points. Zippy keeps her spot at 316 points, along with Elsa at 293. I know that's a lot of points, but here's the full standings. This is from Wikipedia. You can see here, this is all the people in the darker color are already qualified through a platinum event for Guilty Gear Strive, and these are the players that are qualified through points as of right now. There's still more events coming up, and then same thing for Grand Blue here. Like I said, this is on Wikipedia. It's going to be linked in the blog below, so you can go check it out on there. All right, and then right after CEO Taku, Guilty Gear got a patch. This has been something kind of been talked about from the Guilty Gear developers after they made an apology that people weren't satisfied with the patch, but they had some other things in here, really specific, so you can go check it out on there. The link will be in the blog. All right, next we've got what I call Round Robin. This is all the miscellaneous news that didn't fit in the other categories, but I think we're still cool to share. So, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite Beyond released this past week. It's a giant overhaul, fan-made mod created by Maximilian Dude and his development team to just kind of redo Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. TNS hosted an online tournament this past week, and the Matcherino, the prize pool went up to $7,000 for a pop bonus. The project has been really cool to see, and I definitely recommend checking it out. All right, and then for the upcoming Sajam Slam, Sajam announced the dates for it. They're going to be Wednesday, January 22nd, Friday, January 24th, and Sunday, January 26th. So there's going to be a bunch of streaming probably these next couple weeks. We'll probably have an announcement of the teams coming up very soon. But this is a really cool event where Street Fighter pro players are coaches for a bunch of content creators in the gaming space that aren't necessarily fighting game players. It's really cool event. It brings kind of the FGC in line more with more content creators. It just grows it. It's a super positive event for everyone, and it'll be really fun. All right, and then top North American Tekken players Joe Crush and King Ray Jr. went head to head offline for the very first time at CE Otaku. They have frequently played each other all year long at the online TNS weeklies. You can catch their winners finals and grand finals matches in the blog below. It was pretty exciting, pretty cool to see. And then Virtual Fighter official the kind of Ghost announced that its appearance at Frosty Faustings in Evo Japan will be a part of the Virtual Fighter Open Championship. That is the world tour they're doing. We haven't got any more details other than this is going to be a part of it. So I'm not sure how the team 5v5 will factor in. Maybe it's going to be a side event for the 1v1 at Evo Japan, but still cool to see the support and the New Year's message from them. All right, and this is pretty sad to say. 2 legendary FGC venues are closing their doors. Brooklyn Games and Arcade in New York, and HO Game in Japan. So this is from Anime Illuminati and Majin Obama, but this HO Gaming Arcade became legendary during the beginning of the Street Fighter 4 era, as it was the only way many people saw the highest levels of play from the game from Japan. They also do a bunch of other games, all the Street Fighter EX games, Fate Unlimited codes, I think that's what it's called, but it's the Fate kind of 3D fighter by aiding. All these crazy games are done here. And then Brooklyn Games remains to this day to be one of the most popular retro arcades and has a huge KOF 98 and Marvel 2 scene, as well as all the modern games. This reminder that if you have a place like this close by to you and you're in the FGC, treat them well, help them grow, and don't judge them for adding certain kinds of machines or selling non-gaming things. I know it can be like, oh, that's a gotcha game, what is this? But help support their arcade so that way you can do the things that you like to do. It looks like there's a fundraiser movement happening for Brooklyn Games. It could possibly be saved, but it's not certain. Here comes a new challenger. Here's next week's upcoming events, and it's gonna be pretty slow until Friday, January 17th, where things will really kick off with a ton of stuff for a whole bunch of different games. So we'll talk about that more a little bit next week. This week we have 2 World Warriors. The first is the France Monaco Regional Finals on January 5th, and on the same day it's gonna be World War Japan number 5. That's going to be, someone's going to qualify out of that one from points, and then there's going to be a top 8 regional final afterwards, and that's going to be the last World Warrior event. Thanks all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'm going to be doing these videos weekly now that the holidays are kind of wrapping up, and I've also been starting to do some tournament recaps. The first of which I did was a KOF recap of a couple events that happened in last week that I talked about here, but like I said, a little bit more in depth. So thanks for being here.